Merry Christmas. My name is Tom Wilson. I'm the priest at All Saints Episcopal Church here in Southern Shores, North Carolina. This is the Christmas Eve sermon that I'm going to be delivering tonight, and it's called Telling Stories. It begins, in those days, a decree went out from the Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And so begins the gospel lesson for tonight, which Luke wrote to give a history of the Jesus movement. History is not a list of chronological events with people, places, and things, but it is the meaning of the events. A couple months ago, the Don and Catherine Bryant Cultural Arts Series sponsored a visit and a lecture by David McCullough, author, historian, narrator, two-time Pulitzer Prize winner, and winner of the National Book Award, recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and one of my favorite authors. He was here also to research the Outer Banks and the work of the Wright brothers for a book that he's publishing next year about the quest for fulfilling the dream of manned flight. I like the way McCullough writes and the way he does history, for while facts provide the skeleton, he also searches for the stories that people remember, which provide the meat and the sinews of the body of the work. Stories may or may not be factually correct, but they are the contemporaries, participants, and observers' attempts to find truth and meaning. Tonight, we tell the old story of Jesus and his birth. It's a story which we learned when we were children, passed on to us over the years through the Gospel of Luke. It's a true story. Surface facts may be debatable, but it covers the deeper truth. The editor of the book of Luke takes the skeleton of facts and adds the memories and reminiscences of people 80 years after the event of the birth of a son to a homeless couple in Bethlehem. First of all, the family told the story, Mary and Joseph, to their children, nieces, and nephews, who retold them to the later generations of family, and not just blood family, but the followers of Jesus who had joined the family. They passed it on through Luke, and it passed on to us, told and retold for 2,000 plus years, to us members of the extended family. Can you remember the facts, the events of 80 years ago, before, or does your memory and imagination combine to fill in the details? How about less than 80 years? Well, let me tell you something that happened 65 years ago and 10 days ago. December 14th, 1948, when Truman was President of the United States and Salvador Castaneda Castro was El Presidente of El Salvador, while on a coffee finca owned by the United Fruit Company on hills overlooking the capital city of San Salvador in that Central American country. How's that for a beginning of a story? We have the leaders of the countries, just like Luke has the leaders of the countries. But that action is far away from what's going on in the story. We had just moved there a few months before, and we were waiting for our house to be in the city to be finished. Castaneda Castro was a thug who had come to power when he helped organize a coup d'etat against the previous fascist El Presidente from 1931 to 1944, Maximiliano Hernandez Martinez, under whom he had served as head of his secret police. After 3 years, a group of young army officers returned the favor and threw Castaneda Castro out with a coup. My parents' family photo album has a snapshot of people at the finca looking down at puffs of smoke from one fortress firing cannons to another one in the city. There are many times when I was growing up when we would look at the album of life in Salvador, and stories would be told about how the cannons mainly killed innocent civilians, and it was one of the reasons we were safely at the finca. The story continues that my brother Paul, who was almost 3, was thrilled to see the sights and sounds of warfare. And my sister Anne, who was only 4 months old, was held by my father or mother or maid, depending on who or when the story was told. But I was almost 2, and I slept through the entire revolution. Sleeping through the revolution, became a line that my brother would use to imply that I was clueless about something or another. Excitement for storms and noise and carnage was the line I would throw at my brother. However, the reason the story would be told was to share a deeper truth that my parents wanted to pass on to us. The deeper truth was the fervent hope that while the world may fall apart, as long as we were there for each other, we could get through anything. That at times, fragile truth, not always upheld by surface facts, helped form our lives. It was the Wilson myth. Myths are not just things that are not true, but they are stories, not always dependent on surface facts, which are used to explain a deeper reality, a deeper truth. That theme runs through our understanding of ourselves in so many other stories the Wilsons would tell. It's also a theme that keeps coming forth in my dreams, for as Jung has said, myths are public dreams, and dreams are private myths. The birth of Jesus is a fact. Caesar Augustus is a fact. Quinarius is a fact. Bethlehem is a fact. All are facts of where, when, and who. But details were added and expanded by generations of storytellers as they try to give the event a meaning within the community of faith. Hear how Luke gives the facts, and then listen to the old story again, and listen to the deeper truth that God is present in all the God-forsaken places of the world, even in human hearts. Listen to the truth that God keeps sending messages of love to all people. Hear the truth that time is not only measured in hours and minutes, but in God's time. Then tonight, go home and in your prayers, ask for help to listen to the truth that God is sending to your dreams. Tomorrow, gather with your family and listen for the deeper meaning behind the stories that you will tell and have heard, and live into that deeper truth. On Sunday, come back to participate and become part of the story that God is telling in this place, this family, this church, to fulfill God's dream. Merry Christmas, and tell God's story by living it.